Welcome. We're here with Kim Zuroff from Baltimore, Maryland, and we're going to learn a little bit about Kim and why you should maybe consider coaching with her. So Kim, take us back to the beginning. Before real estate, what'd you do?
I was going to college, and I was also in the military, Air National Guard, component of the Air Force.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So that you probably learned a few things in the Air National Guard. That had to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was a great life experience. I just like to put it at that. So yeah, it was awesome.
And you're taking things from that and probably seeing how they translate over into business and principles of life and discipline and so forth.
Yeah, for sure. You know, in the military, I grew into a leadership capacity pretty quick.
Yep.
And that's definitely transitioned into real estate.
Yeah.
You know, I started off as an agent, and I quickly realized that my passion really was helping develop people, build big businesses, and that's kind of led me to where I'm at today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you started in the business when then?
2010.
2010?
Yeah.
And what was your role?
I actually got into the business as an executive assistant for a top agent.
All right, good. So you learned from somebody that was producing at a high level, you know, kind of back end systems and processes and so forth. And how long did you do that for?
So I didn't do that for a very long period of time because that's definitely not my natural profile at all. I was the wrong hire. I was totally the wrong hire. And then I grew into being an agent. And then I was an agent for just about 4 years.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And so working with buyers and sellers and going through that process and making sure you understand that from start to finish. And so at what point in time did you make the decision that you wanted to lead people?
So it was, you know, through that, I was a huge networker, so I went to all the events and I got to know people, and I was really hungry in that I went and found people doing what I wanted to do, and then I just modeled it after them.
Got it.
And then it was, you know, through the networking, opportunities came up, and then I was recruited into just different leadership opportunities.
Sure.
Started off as a productivity coach.
Okay, which is a leader in a real estate brokerage that helps the lower producers mostly, or the new agents.
Yeah, I would say a productivity coach focuses on the 80% of agents.
Yep. So those wanting to go from say 6 deals a year to 15, or from 10 deals a year to 25, right? Or brand new. Yep. And so how long did you do that?
So I was a productivity coach for about 3.5, 4 years.
I can't believe you had the patience to stay in that for that long. Good for you.
Yeah. So it was a great opportunity.
And you learned a lot about yourself, about other agents' businesses, so that obviously adds a ton of value too.
Yeah.
And then from there, what happened?
So I was invited to be a coach with Keller Williams Realty International, and so I traveled around to different countries, speaking, coaching, training agents of all production levels. And then, you know, I kind of got burnt out from being on the road. And then I was recruited to be a team leader CEO.
Got it. Okay.
And so I've been doing that for the last 6 years.
So this is a owner of a company that basically says, I'm going to pass the baton to you.
Yep.
And you've been doing that for how long?
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years. Wow. And when you started in that business, how many agents did that office have?
So at that time, the office had, I believe, just around 50 agents.
50 agents, okay. 6 years later, it has how many?
Well, so we have 2 offices. And so that office today has 175.
Okay.
And then I am in our other office, and we have just under 600 agents in that office.
Just under 600, wow. Okay, just a small little office, huh?
Yeah, just little, yeah.
So not only do you have a lot of agents that look up to you, that report to you, that have conversations with you, you also have an executive team, essentially, that, you know, now you have a productivity coach that reports to you, and, you know, a director of operations, right? So tell us a little bit about your day in terms of managing that many people, because that's a big operation.
Yeah, you know, I look at my role and I say that this role that I'm in is essentially doing the same activities that a top real estate agent does. Right? So somebody that's leading a team. Because every single day I am kicking off with meeting with the team. You know, just kind of going through the main focuses of the day. And then I'm shifting into my prospecting, right? Because in order to attract agents to the brokerage, continue our growth as a company, you know, I have to equally lead generate like our agents do. So I have that focused lead gen time, lead follow-up time. In the afternoons, I'm going on appointments. In the evenings, you know, I'm, you know, out on appointments, going to events, negotiating, you know, deals to bring people on board.
To recruit,
You know, so the reality is I do everything that a top agent should be doing.
Interesting. So it's funny you say that, because I feel like a good handful of agents get into leadership because they don't want to prospect anymore.
Correct.
I just want a 9 to 5, I got some knowledge, I got some wisdom, so I can teach a few things, and I can recruit, sure, give me a list, I'll make a couple calls. They just get into it because it seems like the natural progression, and this is great, I don't have to prospect for business anymore.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Not the case at all. No. It's like everything that you think it is, it's maybe not that.
Yeah.
It's that and a lot more.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's more intense.
It is.
When you're a real estate salesperson, that's business to consumer.
Right.
When you're a team leader or a CEO or an owner of a company, that's business to business. You're convincing people to make a business decision, which oftentimes is a much more difficult decision than somebody listing their house or making an offer on a house, right?
Yeah. Great. And as the leader too, it's like I'm modeling for all of our agents.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing my job, they give reasons as to why they shouldn't be doing theirs.
Yeah.
And that's not how we sell more real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the advantages of working with you, I would say, just based on what I've known, is being in that environment, and I mean, there's intense conversations, intense situations, business decisions that have to be made. And there's a lot of people out there that have a 20-person team. They want to go to 50, or a 50-person team. They want to go to 100. You've been involved in all of that growth. You've been involved in those decisions and directions that the company has gone. And so if I were to ask the question, why would I coach with you? What's your answer to that?
I think that because I'm really willing to help people have the difficult conversations and make those really tough decisions, even when it's not easy. Yeah. Right? So a lot of times agents, top agents, stay in the same place. They keep the wrong hires because they're comfortable. Yeah. They don't want to feel the pain of what it's like. And so I think that's probably the area where I can help the most is by helping them see that they need to level up their hires, especially going into any kind of changing market. Now is the time that you need to level up. Oh yeah. And so that's my biggest strength is really those difficult conversations, hiring people, developing people, because a lot of times we make hires and then we just kind of fall off the cliff and don't choose to develop them. Yeah. And I have totally failed forward in that area.
I bet. Which means you've worked on your people development muscle. And Matt Sutter talks all the time about how Jeff teaches us how to sell more, and that's the sales muscle. And there's also another side to that, going from salesperson to a leader in the industry. And you have not only done it, but you're doing it each and every day. And so I think that anyone who coaches with you has the opportunity to develop their leadership skills, learn how to recruit on a high level, learn how to train at a high level, and learn how to also sell on a high level. So awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
All right, you bet.
Thanks.